Well, it was fun. It is down here in the business. I can.
I keep thinking, well, he's super tired.
I'm just saying.
Down the bridge, bend it from left over the top, right, and then all the way down. That's great. And I know they come up the hill.
You're right, so.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. If I could have cheated.
No, because you come across the bridge. Yeah, left there, I'm sorry, left there. Right, right. Foot is to the right. I'm closer to the hills. When you're coming up that way, there's houses that are open and where you can see them. And then all of a sudden, the left-hand side of that down, there's standing trees. There's the first house with standing trees and then the other driveways are. But you don't want to go around the corner. How was your weekend? Oh, you mean,
Those have to
Yeah, right.
Okay, let's get started. I'd like to call to order the Lafayette Township Board of Trustees and Fire District meeting. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, first on the agenda is meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the March 7th meeting?
A motion to approve.
Do a second?
Second.
Any discussion needed? All right, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign? Okay, so approved. That's ready for signature. Okay, on our consent agenda, we have the fiscal report, fire district report, service department report, zoning report, and police report. Do I have a motion to accept those?
I'll move to approve them.
Second?
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign? Okay. Public participation. Anything from anyone? Yes.
Chris Rogers again, just want to, I'm here on behalf of Lisa Knight, 7382 Lake Street. And there's my third meeting. I just want to keep our face in front of you. We're still battling the same issues. It had rain, we did not flood this time.
That's great.
That's great, but it's still raising up above the discharge pipe. A couple bright lights have happened. Chris O'Neill, Rick, the service manager, after the last meeting, talked about some ideas they came up with on their own. We appreciate that very much. I understand that's an ongoing thing. Maybe the ideas are changing or happening. Thank you again. One other thing, though, I'd like to say is after the last meeting, the director of the county park systems actually came up to us again with his own ideas. He spent the last 2 weeks working on these ideas, and in the end, his board of directors rejected it because of the flooding and the 15-foot thing behind her house. So even people who are trying to help are getting stymied by the same problem. So I still need help. She still needs help. Please keep us in your mind and even if it's not the township finishing this
Mhm.
project, help us find the right people to solve the problem.
And that's what we're here to do. If we, like I said before, I've said all along, I hope we can help within the township. I can't guarantee that, I can't assure that, but we'll do whatever we can to at least point in the right direction or offer whatever kind of advice we can. With that, Chris, is there anything that you can add to this at this point, or other than what you've already mentioned the last meeting?
We're continuing to look. We did a walkthrough with the Chippewa folks last Thursday, trying to find out exactly where the water drains to from their house. We think we found where it daylights, not 100% sure, but I think that's kind of the first step. If we do move, we have to find out how we can open it up from Lisa's property to, there's a catch basin vault down there. But we looked from the vault down, and it looks like it will be okay at this point.
Good. Good. All right, so it's a start. It's a start.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you. Anything else at this point? Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to know, is the possibility that you could get microphones?
Microfilms?
Phones.
Oh, microphone.
We cannot hear you.
You know, my wife always said I had a really big mouth, so I gotta tell her I don't. Yeah, I suppose we could. Nobody's ever asked that before, but yeah, I don't see a reason why we can't.
We had them over at the other place when we had them up there.
Yeah, but those only worked about half the time, and then when they didn't, they were scratchy and nasty, but.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we got a megaphone we can pass back and forth.
All right.
All right, okay. Okay. Anything else? All right, fiscal officer, other than the consent agenda, anything else you need to add?
Yes, so we have some mail for Ms. Strojan, Township Zoning Inspector. This is from the Medina County Engineer. They need your signature on a couple things. Why it came to me, what it did.
Okay.
So I will give that to you. Medina County Farm Bureau, they are soliciting our membership, so that is up to you guys to take a peek at and decide whenever you want to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Share.
Share.
Great Lakes Portables, we need to start talking about the porta potties, you guys, for the baseball fields.
Yes.
So we have an estimate of $235 for the summer. In line with what we paid last year.
I would make a motion that we approve this for the ball fields.
It's $235?
Yes.
I'll second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign? Okay.
Okay, and then the cleanup day. How are we going to organize that this year?
Well, actually, that comes up, Rick's got some things, where's Rick at? He's hiding in the back. Rick had some things he wanted to bring up under his area, so we can hit it then. Or,
Shaking
Rick,
his
do you
head.
wanna, oh, you don't? Well, you've got under Service Department, Community Cleanup Program and Voucher.
Yeah, are you guys gonna do the vouchers?
Oh, I thought it was something you wanted to present.
No,
Oh, I'm sorry.
no. The vouchers, are you guys gonna go with the vouchers and, are you paying for the tonnage?
Well, there was two different ways to do it, looked like this year. Rick, did you get the email as well? Maybe you can forward it to me. They were you either had the ability to do vouchers,
Yeah,
or you could go in and they would get a reduced rate on the tonnage
yeah.
without a voucher. So we could do it either way. Or was that, am I misunderstanding
There were
that?
certain days, if you're gonna do that, to drop off certain days and certain times.
Okay,
Or you can do the voucher, but the tonnage price is the same.
okay. I think the
And the
voucher
voucher
program
was
is
like
fine.
2 months long, I mean, right?
Yeah, it goes till July 30th.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the voucher best serves the residents. They can choose which day they want to do it. Seems to make the most sense to me.
I'm fine with that. All right. Do you want to get all the details to finalize? We can. Sure. We can go ahead with that?
Yep.
Well, it starts
April.
April 2nd, so
What kind of timeline? A couple of weeks, a couple of months?
I believe it goes through July 30th.
Yeah.
Till July 30th.
Did you see, you saw the email, right?
Mhm.
Chris,
I-
did you see the email? Are you guys okay with it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would move to approve vouchers.
Okay.
myself.
I would second that. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign? All right. Get with Sherry, because there was a whole voucher thing that Kim used to have to track when they came in, how much, so we can get an idea of what we pay every year. I think that's all online, but let her know that's gonna be coming through so she doesn't get blindsided.
Yep.
And then we can add that on the website as well. Okay? All right, cool.
And then the last thing is appropriations. So-
Yes. All right, so based on our certificate and based on our needs, we'll put together a resolution for it, but I would resolve that we appropriate for calendar year 2022, $500,000.
No, 800.
I'm looking at the 8 right there. Wow. 800,000, where's Chief? He just had a heart attack. $800,000 for the fire department and $1.2 million for the township. That's divided among all the rest of the areas. We have a motion to approve that,
I would move to approve that.
the resolution? Okay, a second for the resolution?
Second.
approved?
Yeah.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Okay, I will work with our fiscal officer to get a resolution. We'll have, I do not have a number for it, but we'll have that down there to be signed off this week.
That's it for me.
Okay. Service Department, Rick, anything other than this consent agenda?
Yeah, Ty's got my, the ODOT, salt contract for this coming fall that needs signed. And, I brought back, Tim McGill, he's one of my part-time guys, to help with road projects and traffic control and what have you. I do, Medina, there's an individual that reached out from the Medina County adult probate, that he has 50 hours of community service to do, so I told him once the weather breaks that we'd be able to for sure use his help.
Yeah, clean up Ryan Road and the ditches will be a good start. There's so much loader down Ryan Road, it's not even funny, by the rest of the roads.
You need to state your name so we can record that, please.
Albert Johnson,
Thank you.
What's the road, Albert? Ryan Road.
Ryan?
I walk it most every day, and it's just bad in both directions.
Bill, does that, if we use somebody doing community service, what kind of liabilities do we have if they get hurt or anything like that?
They shouldn't have any, it's supposed to be taken care of, it should be on the county's plan, they should have those people listed, we may want to make sure of that, but.
Okay, all right.
That's what they told, there's no liability under the county.
Yeah, they're supposed to be listed on the county's
Yeah,
protection.
correct.
Okay, all right, so we're good with that. Good, that's great, excellent, Rick, thank you. All right,
Anything else, Rick?
Three, two, one.
Up on Karsten Road, we replaced a 12-inch, well, I'm not sure, it wasn't 12-inch, it was a bunch of miscellaneous pipes just buried, and it was supposed to drain the east side of the road, which it was plugged up full of mud. You know, what was exposed was supposed to be, you know, it was 12-inch, but then you dig back a little bit, and then it went to 2 8-inch pipes, and then clear down on the south end, it was like what was exposed was like a 10-inch pipe. So we took all that out and I put a 15-inch, 280 foot of 15-inch to where it'll drain. Once the weather breaks, I can cut across the road to put in the 12-inch crossover to drain the west side of the road too, into that. Them people, they have there's a constant lake there up next to the road. It always floods, it goes across the road when we get heavy rains and so. But other than that, no, I do have 150 ton of salt on the balance of our 850. I do have to order another 150 ton yet, and I'm gonna have to get that ordered here by the end of the month.
By the end of this month?
Yep.
Okay. So is that the ODOT?
No, well,
Well,
this
that-
is for next year, he's talking about this year.
I'm
Oh, just
talking
from what
about
you already
this year.
had, okay, all
Right,
right.
right, but I was suggesting to Rick, and he don't like the idea, and I don't really like it either, because our overflow, we have to cover with a tarp. But what I'm hearing is salt prices are probably gonna be even ODOT numbers, and they're just guessing, but it may be $60, $70 when we're paying 40 this year. I'd like to buy the other 10% this year, another 3 loads. I know we gotta tarp it, but it would save us a couple $1,000s. It's a pain in the butt to tarp, but you got 6 more loads to go under the tarp, plus the extra 3 that I'd like. I mean,
Well, I'd have to go, I'd have to go buy more block to extend the holding area for it. So, that blocks, the last time I bought it, it's been a few years ago, they were, I think, $68 a block. I'm not sure what they're gonna be now. So,
well, we'll meet down there, do some math, see if we can manage it or not.
All right? You good? Cool. All right, fire. Chief, anything other than consent agenda?
I just wanted to highlight a couple things on that, for
Okay.
everybody, and kind of explain a couple things. Precision Pipeline, they were out here a couple months ago, running gas lines to be a new development. They kind of messed up the decking out here, and Rick called me today to remind me of that. He was gonna go out and take care of it, and I said, well, hang on just a minute. They happened to be out there working today, and I went out and talked to them, and they said, oh, we'll fix it today. That's what they were doing, was fixing grass seeding, and they had seed and straw, so they were on top of that.
They didn't damage the actual grid, did they?
They didn't damage the grid, it doesn't look like.
Okay.
They took all the dirt off of it and all the grass, so
Okay.
they used it as a staging area for quite a few days,
Okay.
so. But they were actually right, Donnie on the spot, ready to fix it this afternoon, so that all worked out really well. So thanks to Rick for reminding me on that. Couple other things I just wanted to highlight quick. The county rope team has been, the last couple of Sundays, has been training in our tower. So they come down to the tower and work on their skills, and it's actually a pretty good partnership. They get to use the tower and stay out of the inclement weather, and, we're happy to oblige them, so trying to work with the county teams more, and however we can work together. I want to thank Lieutenant Jenkins, who he coordinated getting the state fire marshal here to put on a fire and life safety educator course. We hosted for a 3-day course. And representatives from departments throughout Northeast Ohio, several departments throughout the Northeast Ohio, as far away as Lake County, I believe, came down and took that class. So that was a good opportunity to showcase the department and sponsor that class, work together. And he also coordinated getting the mobile search and rescue lab from the state fire marshal and the Ohio Fire Academy. and it came up, and we had it in the station for several days. We got to use it, our people got to use it, as well as neighboring departments. So again, just being able to showcase what we're doing here, as well as work with our neighbors, and thank you for that. So that's those are the highlights.
Okay, thank you. Police,
I don't have anything in addition to submitted.
okay? Alice?
Well, been kind of busy. Here's the report for January and February. So far, for just the 2 months, we've had $8,385,790 worth of evaluation added to the township. For January and February, that if we were lucky, we would get 8 or 9,000, and this is kind of explosive. As far as fees go, so far in the 2 months, collected $23,705.57, which all of last year, we only got $21,036. And all of last year, the evaluation was $11,980,000, and we're already up to 8. And the way things are going with Redwood, that'll be exceeded very quickly. So it's been a little hectic. And as far as the country club goes, they have finally seen the light. They have finally decided it would be better to work with us than to not.
Did you threaten them?
Huh?
Did you threaten them?
I didn't have to, I just didn't do anything. They had a, they had to wait for me to sign off, and I wasn't signing off, and neither was Willie. But we've now got it to the point where there was maybe a half a dozen words misplaced, and a couple places they didn't change that we asked them to, which wasn't an issue, except they didn't do it. So they're going to give us supposedly clean copies, correct the way we want them. Bill and I will take a look at them, make sure they're okay, then I will initial every sheet so that when they record it, my initials are on the recorded copy, we got a problem. I do have their phase 1 drawings that they want signed. I don't have a problem with you guys signing. I won't put a date on them. I'm not gonna give it to them until we get the copies of the HOA and that I put my initials on them so they can take them and get them recorded. Because once these are in their hands, it's,
We lose everything.
we lose any leverage. But the way it's looking, as soon as we hand them that and we get the documents, are you happy with the document we got from the Park District for the 2? Has that already been recorded?
I have not heard the court approved it. I heard that they had to have a hearing with the court and there was no objection raised, but I have not seen the actual approval.
So I only got the 1 copy that time. Is that that's the only one? You didn't get anything else, did you?
Yes, I got it. I thought you got it too. They set the actual attachment. My original concern was the agreement only talked about the fairway,
Yeah.
but the attachment did include the whole subdivision, the easement for the whole subdivision, so.
Well, I'll have to check with you. I got the 1 document. I'm not sure we have the same documents on that, but we do have the same documents on the HOA things that they're gonna send us some more. And when we're through, I've got a stack of paper like this. What do I do with it? that are the copies. But anyway, that should be, theoretically, if everything goes the way they anticipate, the way we anticipate, they should be ready to go within maybe a week or 2, maybe 2 weeks. So we'll see what happens.
I think construction will take off like crazy.
Well, the last time, they wanted to know when things were going to actually be allowed to go, and they said they already had people that wanted to build.
Yeah,
So God bless them.
good deal. Good.
So anyway, that's where we're at.
Alice, Bill, both of you, thank you very much. I know that was not an easy process.
No, we've read that 200-page document 4 times, and Bill and I were
You have it
talking.
memorized?
close. Bill and I were talking earlier today, do I really want to read it another time to make sure they didn't slip anything else in, but I guess we'd almost have to.
That'd be the time to, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, you know, my trust factor is low.
All right, thank you.
I would rather you hit that comfort zone right before we sign them, because we ain't letting them go.
Works for me, so I don't know if you want to sign them tonight, and I'll hold them, I won't date them. Then if it works, I won't have to run around trying to figure out how to get the three of you to sign them, or do you want to wait till the last second? It's up to you.
I trust you, Alice. With all you've gone through, I don't think you're going to give them up until you have everything you need.
Oh, no.
So I have no problem signing them.
I'm very, very greedy when it comes to.
I notice how you get that tucked in real close now.
It ain't going nowhere.
All right,
Okay, so afterwards, we'll sign them, but I won't date them, and I'll date them when in fact, it's time to give them to
is there a
them.
Mylar in there too?
Huh?
Is there a Mylar in there too? We need a Sharpie?
Oh, the whole thing is there, I got a Sharpie.
Okay. All right, anything else?
Nope, I'm done.
Cool. All right, correspondence.
Yeah, I have one. I met with the resident named Sarah at Memorial Park this morning, down at the corner by the gazebo, and she reached out and wants to and doesn't want compensated for it, but she'd like to redo the sign, restain the sign, and re-letter it with the white paint for the letters, and maybe take out a couple bushes and put some plants around that she has at her house. I guess she's pretty good at green
What
thumb
sign are we
stuff.
talking about?
At the corner, once,
Up at the town?
yeah, by the gazebo, the
Oh,
wooden
that
sign
one?
that's out front.
Speaking
And,
of signs, somebody asked me who was supposed to be changing the sign on the town hall down there. Apparently it's not being, I don't know, I haven't noticed it one way or the other.
Changing it for what?
Updating it, I guess is a better phrase.
I think since we got the electronic sign, we haven't been
Oh,
updating it.
well, then
yeah.
that's why nobody's doing it, okay.
But speaking of that,
Yeah, actually, Rick and I have talked about that today, ironically enough.
Oh,
We
okay.
need to get that replaced because it's about ready to fall over.
The one that's down there.
Yeah.
Well, it was ready to fall over about 5 years
Yeah,
ago.
it was like,
so-
whoa. But anyway, back to Sarah. So I told her I would reach out to the board and to see if they were okay with her doing that on her own. She has some good landscaping ideas, just to freshen it up, make it look nice. She lives a couple doors down.
I'll ask the question I always ask. I sound like a broken record. Bill, if she comes in and does it on her own, do we have, I mean, I'm fine with her doing it, but do we have any kind of, if she hurts herself with a garden spade, do we have any kind of legal liability?
Well, just be nice to her and she'll be all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to always say that, but
Yeah,
anymore,
yeah.
the way the world is.
The way the world is, right. I suppose technically you would, but I don't really see much exposure there.
Okay, that's fine. Just wanted to ask the question.
Is she doing around the office down there too, or no?
Well, she was just gonna do the corner.
Now, and you technically, we could have her sign a waiver, but I don't know we want to go that far. If she's gonna volunteer, just make sure we have a record as a volunteer, she's doing it on her own.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, as long as you guys are okay with that.
I think it's great. I have no problem. I'd take a motion, I'd make a motion to allow her to do that under your tutelage and supervision,
Are you picking out the plans?
or whoever you assign to it,
Okay.
or whoever you assign to it.
Put her name
He won't
in the
look at me.
minutes.
No. I got enough irons in the fire.
Do we have a second on that?
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay. All right. We are not going to have executive session. We don't have a need for one for this meeting. We have no old business?
Actually, I have
Oh, okay.
some old business. The Dover Highlands HOA contacted me about the streetlights that were discussed last year at Blycliffe and Coverdale. And I looked at old footage from one of the meetings where they talked about it, from last October. I think it was October, maybe September. But they have to get a petition in order to get enough signatures to have
Mhm.
them installed. I think the previous board they were going to contact Ohio Edison to get it scheduled. I don't know if it was ever done. I don't know if you remember.
I thought that Linda said she had, but I may be mistaken.
Yeah, at the time,
Maybe
they were
mistaken.
15, 16 weeks out or something, and it's probably expired by now. I haven't heard anything. I don't think we've received any.
I mean, and that was, I think, done to trying to shortcut the process a
Yeah,
little bit.
I think so.
But I think there's no reason why we can't just go through the normal standard A, B, C, D, and follow it step by
I
step.
think so too. Do you know, Rick, if the petition is it a county thing, or is it a Ohio Edison specific thing that they require?
I don't know, what do you think? What, Joe, you work there.
Yeah, I reached out to Ohio Edison, a regional lady that deals with townships. She's in Massillon, and what she needs to deliver is the proper paperwork issued by the call center, Ohio Edison's call center. Now, this is the same call center number that is on your Ohio Edison bill.
Okay.
Okay, for all typical issues you might have. But if it's a township-related issue, then she has to get involved with getting all the documentation properly.
Okay.
I don't know if it, I've got her phone number. Well, you have, because she contacted Rick, was it about 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago.
About 2 weeks ago.
I think the whole intent was so that the petition was to get enough signatures so that they would agree to have their property taxes.
Right, because they'll get assessed for the,
So I'm assuming that the petition is county issued, but I don't know.
It's a town, it's the HOA.
It's the HOA's.
The HOA has to have a majority, I think it's probably 75%,
Something
most
like
of
that.
those documents, 75% of the people in the development agreeing to have a light put there,
Right.
because the township has to, the way I remember it, the township has to order it from Ohio Edison
Right.
and then bill the HOA, because the townships don't pay for those as a rule.
Right.
But you're the ones that have to order it. So first of all, the subdivision has to have 75% of the residents willing to, or wanting it, and willing to be assessed on their homeowners' dues, whatever.
is there any kind of a special form that you know of, Alice, or?
I don't know if there's a special
Well,
form.
Justin, you're president of HOA, have you ever done that?
I'm not the president, but anyway.
Oh, I thought you were.
No, I'm just on the board, but either way,
Oh, okay.
it depends on the HOA documents. We don't, ours in particular doesn't have anything as far as like a set form or anything that you.
Piece
you
of
know,
paper, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, like any type of petition or,
Okay.
sign off, but yeah.
Okay.
It's got to be sufficient that you guys are satisfied that it's going to go on the taxes
that's
and the
the thing.
township's
Yeah,
not
that's
going
why I
to
figured it
get
was
stuck.
had to be
There's
some
step
sort of-
one with the
Thank you.
1 or 2 sentences up, but they're saying, there's discussion that they want to light at X intersection. It's gonna cost an additional $5 per house to get it. Do you want it? And
Well, Bill,
Well,
could
then
you,
they'll have
could
to
you
pass
draft up some kind of a, just a little, some kind of a quickie? You wouldn't know the dollar figures, but at least the wording for it, then we can figure
I'll
out
take a
what that's
look, yeah,
gonna be.
it's a statutory process, so there's probably
Okay.
something out there that I can
Okay.
pull out. But yeah, the key is that they've got to have the people petition, that the HOA has actually got to pass the rules to make it an assessment on
Mm-hmm.
everybody. So there's a process that has to go through so the township doesn't get stuck with it.
Okay.
the only other thing is, somebody might want to contact Ohio Edison to find out how much that light, because there's going to be installation, wiring, and then the monthly estimated charge, so that when they send this around to the HOA people, they have an
Yeah,
idea
what
how
they're gonna
much
have to
it's gonna
pay.
cost. It's gonna cost you an extra $5 a month to have it, extra $2, extra 20. No.
Joe,
So-
would the person that you had the number for, would they have that kind of information, do you think?
Well,
Well, they'd have to send an engineer out there first.
I think it was done at one time last year, but
I think they said they tried to expedite it last year, but the
Yeah.
cost has probably changed anyway with the way things have
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah, I've never seen any forums or anything like
Okay.
that. I just
Well,
was
would,
able to get,
well, the contact person you had mentioned though, if we would call her, would she be able to give us information or start the process? Like you said, Rick, to send somebody out to, so we can get a price on it, so we know what to put on the paper?
I thought that process started.
Well, that was done earlier. The only thing that might change is the cost. The
Right.
logistics of it shouldn't
Right,
change,
but
so.
I've
Well,
got
but
no
I
information on
think
that.
they tried to expedite it, but I don't think that the board ever got a
No.
petition.
No.
Or notification that a
I don't
petition.
think they did
Yeah.
that for sure.
Oh, see, okay. I'll give you a phone call.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else under old?
Not for me.
All right, new business. Chief, alert siren. This has been an interesting one. Originally, it was brought to the board, this was last year, that a siren was gonna cost roughly $20,000 to put up. We put it up here at the fire station, and we had money, donations laid in to pay for it all, so it wouldn't cost township anything. Well, as we got a little bit further in the process, the price was actually, the initial price was actually 28, not 20. And then when we got a final, because it's been a little while, it's 31
Just
and
under
change.
31,000.
Okay, so it's roughly 31,000. We didn't have 20,000, all we really had was 15,000 in donations for it. So we got a shortfall of about $16,000. I've gone to the park board, I sat at their board meeting on Friday with chief and put hat in hand and asked, would you guys be willing to kick any money into this since it does benefit Buckeye Woods and Schliemann. I called Denise Tesla at the county planning to see if there's any money they would have available for anything at all. And I called over EMA and talked to Christine and asked if there was anything within, because it is emergency management, if they had any kind of funding. So we're gonna see how all that rolls out, but right now, we've got roughly a $31,000 bill and only $15,000 in pledges to cover it. It gets complicated because there was a grant that Chief wanted to go after, and I'll let you kind of take it from there for some fire-specific items.
Yeah, what I'm trying to do is, we need to buy repeaters for couple of our apparatus with the new Marks radio system. Unfortunately, we're having some issues with coverage, so we're not being able to talk to dispatch in certain areas as well as talk to each other, so we were looking to install repeaters in a couple of our apparatus, which would improve that communication. Those are about $2,500 a piece, as well as we only have right now 2 mobile radios for our apparatus. 20 portables, but only 2 mobiles, so I was looking to actually buy more mobile radios. So there's the Nexus grant has, I was gonna write a Nexus grant, it's capped at $7,500, but that would at least buy 2 repeaters and a mobile radio. But there was also a proposal to write the Nexus grant application to help out offset the cost of this siren. And I can do that. It has to be submitted by March 31st, so I can do that without a problem. The question I have is, if we have $15,000 toward a $31,000 bill, and we submit a grant application for $7,500, now we've got $22,500 out of a $31,000 bill. Do we have the funds to offset the rest of that cost?
And do we
So that's
want
where
to do we want to take funding from something else? Because it could be robbing from someplace to pay for it.
So, yeah, I just need some direction on that grant, either way. But I guess you can understand where I'm at in my conflict is that I don't want to write a grant for a siren, get the money for a siren, and then not have the money to complete that project.
And because then you have to turn that money back in anyways,
So
so it's lost funds.
So that's.
But either way, we're gonna need to get the radios and repeaters.
What about the proceeds from the breakfast things they have next month?
Association. That's association money, that's.
Association
well,
can donate.
Well, but the association decides where they want that money to go, that's,
I
we don't have
understand
any.
that, but
Yeah.
Did you contact the villages? They were one of the biggest advocates for a new system because the people couldn't hear it.
Yeah, but you've also got, when I talked to Christina, she said one of her potential suggestions was they're gonna go after a grant to fix the siren they have down there, and they could potentially roll the two of them together and get some money to help with this one as well. But that's nothing she's gonna know immediately, that's gonna be out there a little ways.
Yeah, but that's emerging men. What about the villages themselves?
I
Their
have not
residents
gone
were
to
the
that,
ones
no.
who were complaining that they couldn't hear the siren. They might be willing to put in something to get a better
But with
siren
the
system.
siren being up here, I mean, you're gonna get some benefit down there as well, but nowhere near what it's gonna be if it's right there, I would think. Or am I way off on that, chief?
According to Federal Signal, and don't quote me exactly, but it's at about 6,500 feet, it's at 70 decibels. And at 13,200 feet, it is still at 60 decibels, which is basically a common, speaking voice. And so 13,200 feet puts us, covers the majority of the actual Chippewa Lake itself, so. Essentially, I think it would cover.
Well, that's another potential option then.
So, that's a good point.
But all those being long-term, I would, my own personal feeling, and we can discuss this and decide on it as a board, but I would propose that we tell Chief to write the Nexus grant for the radios and repeaters for the emergency vehicles. And that needs to be done immediately. We're gonna have to have one way or the other. And we'll continue to try to find ways to get more funding for the siren as we go. I would recommend we do that.
I would as well.
That makes sense. Is there a deadline on the grant?
It has to be in by March 31st, so.
Yeah, that's part of the problem, Chris, it's just a tight deadline. All right, so,
Get that done and look for funding in other avenues.
all in favor of doing that? Aye?
Aye.
Aye, those opposed, same sign? All right, there's your direction, chief. Okay. All right, we already talked about the toilets. Melway's bid tab for tar and chip.
Yeah, so, for the roads that we're gonna tar and chip in the township, went out for bid. Engineer estimate was $129,590, and Melway is the low bid at $121,782. So I would move to approve Melway for the contract.
I would second that. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, it carries. All right, I've got two additions to the new business. The first one is a resolution, and it's a multiple-page resolution, so I'm not going to read the whole thing. You're welcome, Alice. Anyone who wants to see it, it will be available, obviously. This is in regards to the ARP money, the recovery plan money. Up until January 1st, there was a very arduous process you had to go through to determine what you could spend this money on. It was very tightly controlled. There was a loss of revenue that you could claim, and there was a very, very complicated formula you had to go through. And what the state legislature found, this is all according to what I learned at the OTA conference, what the state legislature found is that most of the townships, the smaller entities that could use this money the most, weren't going to be able to qualify for hardly any of it. So they came back and did something very nice, and they put in basically, and I'm gonna really kind of paraphrase this back, and Laura, please jump in and correct me if I'm wrong. But they basically put in a standard deduction of $10 million of revenue loss, that everyone is allowed to claim up to $10 million of revenue of loss without having to show anything. If you opt for that choice, you get your full amount that you were already entitled to, in our case, $608,000 over 2 payments. But it opens up how you can spend the money dramatically. It basically says, I might miss one of the points, but basically it says you can spend this money on anything that you would normally use out of your general fund or your fire fund. Spend on anything you want, with the exception of funding pension plans, excessive funding in pension plans, paying existing purchases and lawsuits. I think those were the 3. Is that correct?
I don't know about the lawsuits one. Bill?
But there were 3 areas.
Yeah, I don't think lawsuits would be,
Okay.
not to pay lawsuits.
Wasn't it salaries?
I'm sorry?
Wasn't it
No,
salaries?
you can use it for, anything that you use your own. That was the nice part, they opened it wide open for everything.
Okay.
And it was met with thunderous rounds of applause. It made it a whole lot easier. So I've got a resolution here, and actually the OTA created the resolutions, and it's a very nice resolution. I don't have a number for it, we will, but this basically, that's kind of what it states, and without reading the whole thing, Township has received a distribution of monies, the ARPA funds from the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, and Congress passed the act effective March 11th of 21, and then it goes through all the whys and wherefores and who hases. And buried in here somewhere, it says the township is opting to take the, now therefore it is resolved by the board that the township elects to use the standard allowance and its presumption of revenue lost to the public health emergency and use of the amount amortized herein to found government services. So I would make a motion that we approve the resolution.
I'll second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Okay, we can get all the details filled into that one.
Would you be able to use the money for a siren out of that? That's what I was thinking.
We can use it for anything.
What?
Use it for anything. If you remember back from the end of last year, half of this money has already been kind of pre-allocated towards the broadband expansion. That's about $300 and some thousand for that. That's half of it out already. So we've got to be very judicious in how we're going to use the rest of it. Now, one of the things we're trying to go after is, are there any additional grants available for broadband-specific expansion? It seemed like when we were down there was a lot of money that was going to be made available for that, both from a township level and from a provider level. So I'm going to work with Armstrong to see what they've gone after. It could be that we could get, $20,000, $50,000, $60,000 off of that from grants, so we can offset some of that money and shift that to something else.
Sure.
So it's just a matter of trying to dig in and find all that. Okay? Any questions? Hopefully I did that properly. I don't think I screwed up too bad. All right, the last one we have, and I just got the information here a few days ago, and that is on the medical insurance for next year for township employees. There's a proposal. We got the standard proposal in, and the rates did go up, as they've gone up for everybody. And I talked to our insurance provider, Ohio Insurance Services, and their rep, Frank Harmon, and I said, okay, that's nice, rates went up. How do we make the rates not go up and still get the same coverage? And when he was done laughing, we sat down and talked more, and he proposed that we change our deductible for employees. Now, right now, we have a single person deductible of $2,800 and a family deductible of $5,600. And that's fully reimbursed by the township. It's been that way forever. Doing that actually makes the insurance rate for the township lower than if we had a lowered deduction, it'd make a much higher premium. So we opted to do that many, many years ago. Well, I asked him how much flex we have and how much play we have in that. And he proposed a plan that takes our standard deduction up to $4,000 per person and $8,000 per family. Now, I'm gonna give you some real rough figures. I've not finalized them yet, but just first pass, this is what it looks like it's gonna be able to do for us. If we do this, and if we take this new plan with a higher deductible, our overall rates for the year for all of our employees are gonna drop from $130,000 a year and change to $111,000 a year with all the same coverage. Now, the increase in the deductible that we would be reimbursed by the township for the employees that use it does go up. But historically, we've used anywhere from roughly 30 to 40% of that deductible. And it's actually been, the last 3 years, it's been $8,000, $11,000, and $10,000. So if we use that same kind of proportion, that would go up as well, but it would give us a potential savings over the year going this higher plan. With all the same coverage, we could save potentially another $19,000 without losing any benefits, which seems like a pretty good way to go. We're trying to find ways to save money. So I want to go through, make sure I didn't miss anything, then I'll have Laura show me all the things I did wrong. And hopefully for the next meeting, we'll be able to bring something to the board and do a full review and approval or change or however we want to do it. But we do have a little bit of time with this yet.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, what's the deadline on that?
Tomorrow morning. No, I believe I want to say it was May.
May?
So, I mean, the goal is to get this thing done and put together for our next meeting. Was that pretty much what you saw when you went through it? Okay. All right, so that was just basically more of an update for everybody, so you kind of know where we're at. Okay. I've got nothing else under new business. Any other new business?
No.
Nope.
Any additional public participation? All right. I would then move that we pay the warrants of the township and adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those in favor, say I'll stay here by myself. All right, thank you all very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again for coming to the meeting. Please keep coming. Please keep coming. Okay. Guys, don't go on. That's stuff to sign.
Hey.
Here's the one with the signature on it. Oh, no, this is the wrong one. You're right.
Sir.
Good to see you again.
How are you? Make sure you give your name when you stand up next time. Tell her I'll throw your ass out. Don't print that. It's already over. What's that?
You see what's missing out my front door?
Somebody take one.
I noticed. Well, my truck has got eyeballs in my front.
Did somebody take something out? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a whole bunch of big culprits on the front. Can you help me with that?
Oh, that was my gas.
I'm going to bring that.